The Jesus Trilogy, Book 2, Then There Were Two, Chapter 41, Part C. Couldn't Pops just slaughter the black shirts and start over? Maybe the remainder, all of us white shirts, would all stand by Pops forever forward. Yeah, he could just wipe out all the humans too, and we could go on in eternal happiness. These humans are just a bunch of troublemakers, a bunch of nitwits, Byron said, irritation in his voice. The universe certainly could get along fine without them, Morton said. You know, I had a chance to talk to DeConnier about that. He's one of our best minds. So I've heard. He says that the reason God created humanity was for his own pleasure, but it was also a test. You know, Bells, Jesse, and Luke have been pushing the envelope since they were created. Morton's face was turning red, matching the cherry stain on his white shirt. I wish that trio had never been born. I'm with you, buddy, Byron said, but he seemed no more interested in food than world problems. DeConnier says that eventually, if not Luke and that trio, then someone else would have asked the questions and gotten enough bright ideas to cast doubt on God's right to rule, Morton said. But there must be an easier way for Pops to prove that he deserves to rule the universe and dictate how we should live. DeConnier says not. He says that they had a long, very long meeting, in fact, many meetings in heaven among not only the Holy Trinity, but Gabe, David, Luke, Jez, Bells, and all the hierarchy. And even after the Battle of Heaven, when Bells and company were forced out of heaven and ensconced on Jupiter, the meetings went on ad nauseum. Many suggestions were brought forward, but in the end, humanity or some other form of life that had the capability to choose for or against God was the only way it would work. Finally, one day, Michael stood up and volunteered his services. Once evil entered the universe, someone would have to pay to eliminate it from the universe. The same guy I talked to today, Byron said in mock jest. Yep. DeConnier says Gabe told him that's how it all went down, Morton said. God initially would have none of it, but the more Michael pleaded, the more everyone from top to bottom realized it was the only way to eradicate evil and return the universe to tranquility. You know, I'm getting nowhere. Maybe you should call council when you get back to Saturn. We got maybe 20 billion strong, Byron said. Something like that, Morton said. Then after some quick contemplation added, no, we've got to stay strong, stick together. Our strength is in our numbers. We start factioning off, the black shirts will pick us off one by one. We must stay in complete unity. It is the only way we will get back to paradise, the paradise we've lost. Yeah, and time is not on our side. This planet can't survive very much longer in its current form. The black shirts are gaining numbers as we sit here eating, Byron said, but it did not prevent him from taking another swig of Cabernet. How'd your first encounter go with Michael the other night? Good, I think. Yeah, well, fair, Byron said, obvious doubt in his voice. What's your plan? Morton pressed. Well, I did chat with him in the park. I think he'll be back through next weekend. I'll try and get to know him a little better. I'd like to get him to open up a little. He studies the scrolls like crazy. I think he believes he is the Messiah, but he just doesn't have a clue as to how to go about his task of saving the world. Correction, Morton injected, saving the universe, saving our hides as well. Right. Anyway, he has no clue. You know, the human mind is so terribly slow to catch on to anything. I wish Jehovah had given him just a little more brain power. No, he couldn't do that, or old Luke's black shirts would have cried foul. They would surely say the test was invalid. It has to be double blind, the test, Morton said. I know, but we can give Michael just a little help now and then, can't we? When Byron talked about the subject, he always became a little exasperated. Gabe says we can, but each time we do, the black shirts can turn up the evil button and test Michael a little harder, Morton said. You think he'll crack? I don't know. I thought that move Gentile, Judith's wife, put on him would break him, but somehow he got through that. I really didn't think he could. I know I wouldn't have. For a human, Gentile is real cute, Byron said. Yeah, if she were 100 feet tall like us, she could have got me to do anything she wanted, Morton confessed. Just be careful of old Jesse on the way back, Byron admonished once again. I will, I will. Above everything else, I want my life back. I love heaven. I always am in awe when I cruise through M42 and circle into those diamond domes and golden streets. It just smells so good. Morton faked a sniff in the air. Yeah, this earth has such putrid odors. All this animal and plant waste makes me sick. I wish we were home so bad, Byron said. Well, in a month, Earth time, that is, you'll at last be back on Saturn. At least the ammonia gas layers keep the smell to a minimum on the planet's surface, Morton said. Wonder what Jupiter smells like, Byron wondered. I hear it's just atrocious. Drives those black shirts nuts. They're constantly fighting among themselves. The ones I talk to down here like it here better than Jupiter, Morton said. And they must really be twisted, Byron said, screwing up his tired face. They are, Morton said. That crazy Joe Delayed was overworking on Johnny at the football game the other day. Says it's just awful. You think he might turn back our way? Morton asked. Don't know. Sometimes he even does things to help these humans. Then he gets a change of heart. Fights often with his cohorts. None of them can get along very long, Byron said. What a mess this war is. Well, one thing for sure. Everyone has about 15 or so years to make up his or her mind. When Michael or whoever becomes the human Messiah does his thing, lives the clean life, well, then God will say, well done, and he will destroy the rebel force, the dissension, the evil everywhere. Byron wiped his brow. He was a cool customer, but even he was feeling the pressure. He was the point man this month, and he did have some inkling of what was hinging on his performance. Words everything goes down in 33, Morton said. It's already 19 AD. Not much time left, Morton said. 14 years. Well, talk to him anyway. I always liked him. Such a nice guy, Morton said. Yeah, Joe Delayed really loved Jameer. He couldn't let her go, and when she crossed the line, he had to go with. But yeah, I'll talk to him. I think Jesus and Johnny will be getting together soon. I lost a lot of friends too many. When is the big one? Byron asked, his face somber. The conure said Gabe thought it would be pretty close to 33, maybe 30, 31, Morton said. And that will be something. I just don't think Michael can do it. The human mind is just too weak. The human mind is just too weak. When Luke gets a direct shot at Michael, I think Michael will crack like an egg. That is, if he doesn't go down before then. I pray every day, every hour, that Michael will get through another day unscathed. But man, we've got, 14 years to go. That's roughly 5,000 days, Byron said. 5,110, not counting leap year, Byron. Whatever. How do you think Luke will go about it, testing Michael directly? Pop said he would give the black shirts one direct shot at him, Byron said. Don't know, Morton said. Maybe some fight with a wild animal or a direct encounter with one of those dragons in the north of England. You must mean the dinosaur. Yes, Morton confirmed. No, I think it'll be some sort of mind game. Luke is the smartest of the bunch. He knows the mind is the most powerful weapon, Byron said. You're probably right, but if that happens, we are all doomed. Luke will make mincemeat out of Michael. Remember, they were best friends forever, like brothers. The inevitable defeat was written all over Morton's weary face. He stood. Well, I best be going. Do all you can for our boy, Michael. Word is you're one of the best negotiators we've got. Byron blushed. I don't know about that. I do like a good scrap now and then. Speaking of scraps, can I help yourself? Morton said, motioning to his half-eaten plate of cherries. Food is the secret to energy down here, Byron said as he popped a now cold, flameless cherry in his mouth. Would you like another serving, sir? The attentive waiter saw Byron go for Morton's cherries. Byron waved him off. Just a check. Right, sir. The dutiful waiter walked back to the till. Morton put his sticky hand on Byron's huge shoulder. Put everything you got into it, old boy. We got to help Michael in every possible way. Use every trick this war will allow. I won't rest the whole month. You can count on that. I've still got a few ideas up my sleeve, and I will begin to implement them as soon as the opportunity presents, Byron said. He bit down hard on a cherry, but there was a pit in it. Ouch! He winced, but then grinned. You know, old Mort, if we lose this war, it will not be because of me not trying my hardest. Morton detected a weak but perceptible resolve in his friend's voice. It was a note he had not heard in any white-shirt voice in a very long time. You know, Byron, I like your attitude. If you just negotiate like you eat, no one will have a chance against you. Morton turned and began to rise off the gleaming surface of the restaurant floor. He converted into Vision 2 mode so the humans around him could not see him. See you at the Saturn buffet table in a month, he said. See you at M42 in a millennium or two, Byron answered, staring up at his friend, all the while chewing cold cherries. He and Morton saluted, and then Morton streaked through the restaurant roof into the dark starlit sky. Byron looked over at the waiter who was tallying up his bill. Maybe I will have another round of cherries.